Once upon a time, in a quiet English village surrounded by hedgerows and soft green hills, there lived a poor farmer named William Ashby. William was not a rich man. He owned a small patch of land, a few hens, and a plain, ordinary goose that gave him little more than its daily egg. He worked from dawn to dusk, tilling his soil, mending his fences, and carrying water from the well. But no matter how hard he labored, his roof still leaked in the rain. His boots wore thin in the mud, and his meals were often nothing more than bread and broth. Yet William was patient by nature, and every morning he rose with hope in his heart, saying to himself, "One day will be better than the last. One day, fortune may turn." One crisp autumn morning, William went to check the goose's nest, expecting a plain white egg as always. But that day, he froze in his tracks. Nestled in the straw lay a heavy, gleaming treasure unlike anything he had ever seen. He picked it up carefully, and the weight almost pulled his arm down. The egg was solid gold, shining like the morning sun. At first, William thought it must be a trick, perhaps a child's prank. But when he took it to the goldsmith in town, the old man weighed it, tapped it, and nodded. "A golden egg indeed," he said gravely. William could scarcely believe his luck. The next morning, William rechecked the nest, hardly daring to hope. To his amazement, there was another golden egg, and the morning after that, another. Day after day, the goose laid a golden egg. At first, William was cautious. He sold one at a time, enough to patch his roof, mend his boots, and fill his table with food. His neighbors noticed. "William's cottage looks brighter," they said. "His purse grows heavier." But William kept his secret close. He only smiled and said, "Hard work brings reward." As the weeks passed, the golden eggs changed William's life. At first he was generous. He shared food with neighbors, lent coins to the blacksmith, and gave alms at the church door. But slowly his heart began to change. He bought finer coats, then more coats. He built a bigger barn, then complained it was too small and started building a second one. Each night he counted his coins by candlelight, muttering, "One egg a day is good, but it is slow." The villagers began to whisper among themselves. "William was once kind," they said, "but now he watches every penny. He has grown proud." The more golden eggs William gathered, the more his thoughts grew restless. Each night he sat by the hearth, staring at the goose with its calm, watchful eyes. And each night the same thought gnawed at him. One egg today, one tomorrow, one the next. Why wait? The goose must be full of gold inside. If I cut her open, I will have it all at once. For many nights he wrestled with this temptation. Patience fought with greed, but greed's voice grew louder and louder. At last, William made his choice. One cold winter's evening, William sharpened his knife until the blade shone in the firelight. He seized the goose, laid her upon the table, and with one swift stroke, ended her life. Breathless with anticipation, he cut her open, searching for the treasure he had imagined. But there was nothing. No pile of gold, no hidden hoard, only the poor, lifeless bird. William's hands trembled. The truth struck him at once. The goose had held no riches inside her, only the gift of laying one golden egg each day. and now that gift was gone forever. At first, William told himself he would manage. "I still have coins left," he muttered. "I will be careful." But wealth that comes easily goes quickly. He had built barns too grand, bought clothes too fine, and spent freely at the tavern. Within months, his purse was empty. His barn stood half-built, his table bare, and his neighbors, once glad to borrow and share, now turned away. The villagers shook their heads and said, he had enough to last a lifetime, but his greed left him with nothing. One evening, as rain dripped once again through the broken roof, William sat by the cold hearth, staring at the empty nest where the goose had once sat so faithfully. His shoulders sagged, and his voice was low. "If only I had been patient," he whispered. "One egg a day would have been enough. Now I have nothing at all." His words carried no anger, only sorrow, for he knew the fault was his alone. From that day on, the villagers told the story of William Ashby and the goose that laid golden eggs. Mothers told it to their children at bedtime. Neighbors told it over fences, and travelers carried it to distant towns. And always the lesson was the same. Patience brings steady reward, but greed leaves a man with nothing.